Why, hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I'm here today. Thank goodness it's Friday. TGIF. Happy Felon Friday to those who celebrate, and you know who you are. I am here today with a very special, exclusive edition of 90 Day Oy Vey. I've had this note written for myself all week to check the status of Michael and Angela's annulment slash divorce case. And I checked it today. And guess what? Hot off the presses, you guys. I have an update. I paid $25 for a stack of documents. Tons and tons of paper, you guys. Tons of paper. But there is gold written on these pages, okay? And I am here to give you guys this gold that is written on these pages. So I'm just letting you guys come into the room. Hi to my trusty moderator, Menopausal Queen. Hi, Mary Beth. Hi, Silly Shally. Hi, Chio 21. Hi, Venus. Hi, Pro Wrestling. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. So let's get right into this, okay? Michael's attorney. Actually, wait, before we get into this, I wanted to tell you guys that this wasn't the Oy vey that I was planning on doing today. I had a whole video put together, and then I decided to check on Michael and Angela's annulment slash divorce, and I said, oh no, I have to do this video first. So this 90-day Oy vey that was supposed to be done tonight, I will probably do it sometime tomorrow. I'm also helping to go live with Kelly tomorrow about Hunt for Love. So for now, this Oy vey has to be put up on the shelf because we have bigger news to get to. Okay. Michael's attorney filed a motion to dismiss the annulment, grant him a divorce, and to pick up Michael's legal fees. Now, from what I understand, the legal fee thing is standard and it's probably not going to happen. But I want to share these court documents with you guys. I'm actually going to put myself in the corner so you can see me. I want to share these court documents with you guys. And there is literally gold in these documents. So, first of all, we have motion to dismiss petitioner's complaint for annulment and motion for attorney fees. So, we have petitioner and respondent were married on January 27 in Lagos, Nigeria. The parties' marriage was a result of a valid relationship entered voluntarily by both parties. The engaged in a long term relationship prior to entering into the marriage contract. Petitioner filed her complaint for annulment on June 20th, 2024, in this court. Petitioner claimed in her complaint that the respondent married her in order to gain permanent resident status in the United States. The parties met online in 2017. They had a relationship online until the parties applied for and appeared on the reality TV show 90 Day Fiancé. The premise of the television show is to share the complexities of international romances and the challenges faced by couples who intend on ultimately bringing one of the parties into the United States so they can marry. Using a K-1 visa allows foreign fiancés of American citizens to travel to the United States. Okay, so basically, Angela was trying to say at one point that her marriage was a fraud because Michael was just using her to come to the United States. His attorneys are pointing out that they had a long time relationship before he came to the States. Okay, so it says respondent had never heard of the show prior to the beginning of his relationship with the petitioner. Petitioner actually introduced the option of being on the show to respondent. So Angela told Michael, let's go on the show, telling him that if they appeared on the show, they will be able to see each other and that she will be able to travel to Nigeria to meet face to face for the first time. Petitioner told respondent that if they became engaged, he would be able to apply for the K1 visa after she, Angela, filed and got approval for her petition for alien fiance with the USCIS. Respondent then Despondent could then come to the United States to be with her. The parties were ultimately selected by TLC to be part of season 2 of the show. During the filming of the show, Petitioner did travel to Nigeria to meet Respondent for the first time. This was after a year and 2 months of being in an online relationship. Petitioner was the one to actively pursue Respondent, and she asked Respondent to marry her. The petitioner's marriage proposal to the Respondent was documented in the TLC reality television series. Next, perhaps one of the most egregious examples of the emotional control and abuse was when petitioner demanded the respondent turn over his immigration documents to her and said they were her documents, not his. She continued to maintain possession of the respondent's passport and has exploited respondents by participating in social media postings where she is holding and talking about the respondent's passport with all of the respondent's personal information available for any online viewers. So now moving on. This is where they detail the taser incident. Okay. So let me just get to. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. So there are many incidents of physical abuse. However, an extreme example of the petitioner's desire to physically harm and abuse the respondent occurred in January 2024 when the parties visited in Los Angeles for an appointment with the petitioner's dentist. On that trip, the parties were staying in a hotel near the location of petitioner's dental's office. On an evening during the trip, petitioner and respondent were out partying in West Hollywood, and as they began back to the hotel, an argument ensued wherein the respondent, Michael, was kicked out of the car by the petitioner. Respondent was forced to walk 3 hours to get back to the hotel. That same evening, the petitioner used a taser on the respondent's shoulder in the argument as the argument continued once the respondent arrived in the hotel room. So, where did you guys hear about this taser incident first? Right here, back in February of 2023, when he first disappeared from Michael's house, and I was talking to his friends, and they let me know about the taser incident. Okay, so it is in these court documents, this motion filed by his attorney. And yeah, I'm telling you, these papers are golden. So now, basically, Angela was trying to say that their marriage was fraud because they didn't have a marriage contract. So his attorney says having the ability to contract, the parties did, in fact, enter into a contract for marriage. It is undisputed in bold and underlined, that the parties engaged in a legal contract for marriage on January 27, 2020, in Lagos, Nigeria. There was a legal wedding ceremony in the company of Nigeria. See attached as Exhibit A the respondent's first request for remissions. And don't worry, guys, we will be getting to that. Um, See attached here too as Exhibit B petitioner's responses to respondent's first request for admissions. Okay, so basically, cliff notes of this is a legal marriage. It occurred in Nigeria in 2020. Angela Stop trying to say that this isn't a legal marriage because you don't have a marriage contract. When you married him in Nigeria, you entered into a marriage contract. So now, petitioner states that the respondent induced her into marriage for the purpose of gaining a green card or legal permanent residence in the United States. Despite the statement made in her petition, she admits that the parties have been engaged in a multi-year relationship prior to the marriage. Refer to number 5 in exhibits A and B. Don't worry, we will. She further admits that she and the respondent were engaged in a contract with TLC's 90-Day Fiancé franchise since 2018, and the party's marriage did not occur until some 2 years later. Refer to number 8 on exhibits A and B. Certainly, there was more than adequate time and money for the petitioner to review and examine the validity of her relationship through this television empire and its resources. Yeah, she hired a private investigator that came back with nothing. So, yeah. So now hold on to your hats, you guys. Okay. Remember how Angela was screaming, MYKOL's a scammer? MYKOL took all her money. She's broke because of MYKOL. She sent MYKOL all this money. Well, according to these documents submitted by MYKOL's attorney, it's actually the other way around. Between May 24, 2018 and December 2023, that's a period of 5 years, respondent wired petitioner. MYKOL wired Angela over $235,415 to help her when she asked. Respondent was told by petitioner that she was putting the money into a joint account so they that they could have money until petitioner could get a driver's license and a job. Petitioner requested 93% of petitioner's earnings from the show. So Angela requested, 95% of the earnings. On June 14, 2024, during a YouTube show that the petitioner was involved in, petitioner confirmed that the respondent gave her money to pay bills. During that time, petitioner also admitted that the parties were married. Furthermore, the petitioner constantly proclaims that she is a very bright woman, and this part cracks me up. And certainly she is. She would have never been duped into marrying someone she did not want to be married to, especially when she is making so much money off of the television exposure that their union produced. Okay, so 235K over 5 years, I did the math, is approximately 47K. Where the fuck did MYKOL come up with that money to send to Angela is my number one question. But secondly, I am sure if he did wire her money, he showed his attorney proof, or his attorney would not put the shit in the documents. Okay. So there is proof somewhere, and I'm sure his attorney has it, that MYKOL wired money to Angela. So all I have to say to Angela is provide your receipts. If you sent MYKOL all this money, MYKOL took all your money, and it wasn't your lavish spending lifestyle that you couldn't really afford, which we will get into in these documents. I'm telling you, these things are fucking gold. The best $25 I have ever spent. Okay, so now moving on. So another thing that Angela was trying to say in order to have this annulment go through was that her and MYKOL never consummated the marriage in the United States. Okay. And his attorney is basically saying, you guys consummated the marriage in Nigeria. That is good enough for consummation of the marriage. So you cannot file for divorce for an annulment on the basis that you guys didn't fuck while you were in the United States, which we all know is probably a big fat fucking lie, because she jumped him the first night he got here. Okay, you know that I know that you know she did that. Okay, so next we have in this case, Oh, this is going back to the legal marriage ceremony. So now they want Angela to pick up all of Michael's legal costs. From what I understand, this is standard when it comes to divorce cases, and it hardly never, ever, ever happens. I've never been divorced, but I have lots of friends that have gone through divorces. And from what I understand, every attorney requests for legal fees to be paid by the other party, but it never happens. It never happens. So, in conclusion, Michael's attorney wants to dismiss the annulment filing, have the divorce granted in Michael's favor, and have attorney fees paid for by Angela. So this was submitted to the court by Michael's attorney yesterday. So this is fresh off the fucking press, okay? And remember where you heard it first. Before In Touch writes their articles, other content creators do their posts and their videos. Remember where you fucking heard it first. And remember who paid $25 for these fucking documents first. Okay? So, this is where we get to the gold. Light a joint, pour a drink. I have been waiting for this. Okay? Ever since I did my video and my post in the beginning of April, when I had some divorce document details, but not a lot. Do you guys remember when I did this video? I had the answers to the questions, but not the questions. And I was dying to see what the questions were because the answers, some of them just blew, like mind blown. Well, guess what, you guys? Guess what? I have the questions and Angela's answers. So listen, guys, pour a drink, light up a joint. We're going to go on a wild ride. Okay, there is 100, give me 1 second, guys, 143 questions and answers. Okay, so here we go, you guys. And I'm going to put up this nice picture of Michael as I do this. So, story time with Mary. Question number one. Admit you and respondent were married on January 27, 2020 in Lagos, Nigeria. And she admits to that. Question two. Admit there was a legal wedding in the country of Nigeria. She admits to that. Question three. Admit that you and the respondent had sexual relations following the marriage in Nigeria. Her response. Petitioner admits in part the matter set forth in this request. The petitioner denies that the petitioner and respondent engage in sexual activity within the United States. Bullshit. Sorry, I just had a bullshit attack. Okay. Anyway, number four. Admit that you had sexual relations with the respondent prior to the date of your marriage in Nigeria. And she admits that. Number five, admit that you and the respondent have been involved in a multi-year relationship beginning in approximately 2017 before you married. She admit that. Number six, admit that you initiated the relationship with the respondent. Angela says no. She denies that. Number seven, admit that you were the one who made the wedding proposal in this relationship. And she says no. She denies it. Number eight, admit that you were under contract with TLC Sharp Entertainment since 2018. And she admits that. Number nine, admit that you are still contracted with TLC Sharp Entertainment. Now, I just want to look at the date that this was filed because she admits that she is still on the contract with TLC. Even though I have heard her on her lives say that she was not on the contract with TLC anymore. So as of March 20th, when this was filed with the court, she is still under contract with TLC. Okay, number 10. Admit that you were or are a cast member on 90 Day Fiance. So I'm going to read the next ones, and she basically says yes to all of them. They list all of the shows that they've been on. Okay. So admit that you were a cast member of 90 Day Fiance. Admit you were a cast member of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After before the 90 days. The Last Resort, Pillow Talk, 90 Day Journey, Angela and Michael, 90 Day Journey, 90 Day Fiance Bear Alls, and 90 Day Fiance Love Games. And she admits to all of it except for number 15. Admit that you were or are a cast member on 90 Day Journey, Angela and Michael. She says petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request. TLC Production created this product using snippets of other productions. Thank you so much, Joan, for your super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. You know, I do this all for you guys, okay? I really want to bring you guys the hottest tea, and that's my motivation. So if you guys are loving the tea, and that's all that matters to me. Really, that's all that matters to me. Okay, so let's see here. So she denies that they were on Bears All, and it says that it was just snippets that publication production put together. Okie dokie. So now admit that you were a cast member on 90 Day Diaries. Admit you were a cast member on 90 Day HEA Strikes Back and 90 Day Before the 90 Days. Admit that you were or on other 90 Day Fiancé shows not listed herein. So she admits everything. She admits to all the other shows except for number 21. Admit you were or on other 90 Day shows not listed herein. So now number 22, it says admit you were paid for the shows that respondent, Michael, was not paid for because he did not appear. And Angela says petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request as she has no knowledge of the information sought by this request. Number 23, admit that you have started a corporation, LLC, or nonprofit organization. And she denies it. Number 24, admit you started a business or businesses in your name. And she denies it. Number 25, admit you started businesses in your name to which respondent, Michael, was not a beneficiary or partner. She denies it. Number 26, admit that you have financial accounts which respondent is not aware. She denies it. Number 27, admit the marital residence is owned with no balance to a lender. And she denies it. So apparently she still has a mortgage on her house, she's saying. Okay, I'm going to take a pull of my joint. Give myself a little reward because there is a lot more. Okay, number 28. Admit that you have purchased luxury sports vehicles during the marriage. She denies it. Number 29. Admit that during the marriage between January 27, 2020 to present, that you spent money on gifts for friends valued over $100. She admits it. She admits it. Number 30. Admit that during the marriage, January 27, 2020 to present, you purchased travel accommodations for people other than your husband, the respondent. And petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, but for the travel expense supplied on one occasion for a personal guard. Number 31. Admit that during the marriage, January 27, 2020 to present, that you spent any money on any paramour, any of your side things, Angela. Did you spend money on any of your little obsessions? Okay, that shit fucking cracks me up. And of course, Angela denies it. Admit that you abandoned respondent in the middle of the road in West Hollywood, 3 to 4 hours from the hotel that you were staying in Los Angeles during the morning hours after a night of clubbing in January 2024. And of course, she denies it. Number 33. Yeah, exactly. Personal guard. Why the fuck does she need a personal guard? Good point, Deirdre. Yeah, why does she need a personal guard? Okay, so number 33. Admit that you brought a taser with you during a trip to California to see your dentist in January 2024. And petitioner admits the matter set forth in this request, as the petitioner implemented the item for self protection. My question then, now, and always will be is how the fuck does she travel with the taser? Did she pack it in her suitcase? Was it in her purse? Did she buy one in California? Does she buy one in every state that she visits? I want to know that. Okay. So now we have number 34. Admit that you told respondent you needed a taser in California because it's dangerous. Petitioner denies that. Number 35. Admit you told respondent you bought the taser for protection. And she admits that. Okie dokie. Number 36. This is all about the taser incident right now. Admit that on or about January 2024, you tasered respondent in the shoulder with a taser purposely and willfully in an attempt to cause him bodily harm. And of course, she denies it. She denies it. Number 37. Admit that in February 2024, you chased respondent up the stairs and attempted to back him up so he will fall over the two-story banister, as documented on season 8 Happily Ever After Tell All. And she says, petitioner denies the matter set forth in his request, as this was a TLC scripted scene. So every form of abuse was a TLC scripted scene, according to her. And the respondent is acutely aware that this was a TLC scripted scene. Number 38. Admit that you called 911 in February 2024 to report respondent missing. And she admits it. Number 39. Admit that you stated you were going to pull your, in quotes, visa from respondent and send him home during the taping of season 8, part 5, Happily Ever After Tell All, air date 8/25/24. And of course, guess what she says? Petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, as this was a TLC scripted scene. Really? An ambulance has to come down my block? A TLC scripted scene, and the respondent is acutely aware that this was a TLC scripted scene. So, number 40. Admit that you stated multiple times that you would send respondent back to Nigeria after he arrived in the United States. And guess what? She denies it. Number 41. Admit that you exploited respondent to stay on the 90 Day Fiancé show and any spin-offs. She denies it. Number 42. Admit after you were married to respondent, you had various paramours outside of your marriage. Angela Sadding. Okay. Number 42. She denies it. Number 43. Admit that you spent marital assets on other men. She denies it. Number 44. Admit that you refused to spend respondent's money when he needed it. She denies it. Number 45. Admit respondent sent you money when you needed it. And she denies it. Number 46. Admit that you and respondent sent money to each other before and after the marriage. She admits that. She admits that. Number 47. Admit that respondent has sent you over $100,000 between 2018 and 2023. And guess what? Petitioner admits the matter set forth in this request. So she admits that MYKOL has sent her, in over a course of 5 years, $100,000. But then the next question, admit that the respondent has sent you over $200,000 between 2018 and 2023. And she admits it, you guys. She admits that MYKOL has sent her over $200,000 in 5 years. The whole time she was screaming and crying that she sent him money and he scammed her. Okay? So, number 49, admit that you spent marital assets on multiple cosmetic surgeries. She denies it. Admit you spent marital assets on jewelry with a value over $100. She denies it. Number 51, admit your daughter Scotty Dean and her children resided in the marital home with you and MYKOL, and she admits it. Number 52, admit you initiated the contact with the respondent through Facebook on or around March 2017. And she denies that. For some reason, she denies that. I don't get it. Number 53, admit that you were aware of the 90 Day Fiance franchise prior to the contact with MYKOL. And she admits it. Now, I see some questions in the chat about wondering where MYKOL came up with this money that he sent to Angela. And like I said, I did the math and it comes out to approximately $47,000 a year, which is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a lot of money. But the whole point, I believe, to this is that Angela has been putting this narrative out there that she's been sending MYKOL money. He's the scammer. All he wanted was money and a green card, where it shows in these documents, and she admits it, that he was sending her money all along. And we're going to get into this even more. Okay. I told you guys it's 100, what is it, 145 points or something? Let's see here. Yes, 143 questions. Okay. And we are on number 53. So here we go. Number 54. Admit you kept respondent's cell phone from him for periods of time during your relationship. She denies it. Number 55. Admit that you destroyed at least one of MYKOL's cell phones during your relationship. She admits it. She admits it. Number 56. Admit you destroyed MYKOL's cell phone multiple times during the course of your relationship. She will only admit to it once. She denies multiple times. So you're going to only get once out of her. Okay? So, anyway, number 57. Admit that prior to 2019, you had a master lock on the bedroom door your mother stayed in at your house. And she denies it. She denies it. Number 59. Admit you encumbered, controlled, or took away respondent's immigration documents, including his passport, after he arrived in the United States. And of course, Angela's denying it. Number 60. Admit you took into your possession and held MYKOL's immigration documents, including his passport, on February 23rd, 2024. The day that MYKOL ran for his fucking life. And she denies it. Okay? She denies it. So number, let's see here, 62. Admit that you continue to have control over the respondent's passport. Now remember, I said these documents were filed back in March. So as of March 20th, she still had control over MYKOL's passport, according to his attorney, but of course, she denied it. Number 63. This is where it gets messy, you guys, okay? Part of the reason why this is taking so long is because Angela's on her second attorney. You know her attorney, Lou, that has appeared on the show a couple of times? Well, he was going to represent Angela in this whole annulment divorce case, and he fired her basically. So we're going to get into this. And on number 63, admit that on or around September 5th, you were contacted via C. Lewis Tippett regarding the return of Mr. Elisami's passport. MYKOL ran away in February, and in September, okay, she was contacted by her attorney Lou and saying, you better give MYKOL back his passport. Number 64. Admit that on or around September 5th, you were contacted via C. Lewis Tippett regarding posting videos and images of yourself holding the respondent's passport and immigration documents on social media. For number 63, being contacted by her attorney, she says petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, and by further answer, the petitioner objects to this request as being protected by attorney-client privilege. So she pulls attorney-client privilege for the next few questions, okay? For number 64, when she was contacted by her attorney's office again about the passport. Number 65, admit when confronted via counsel about being in possession of the respondent's passport and immigration documents in September of 2024, you deny that you have been in possession of Mr. Elisami's passport and immigration documents. She denies it, attorney-client privilege. Number 66, admit that when you were confronted via counsel about posting images of the respondent's passport and immigration documents on social media in September 2024, you deny that you have done so too. Attorney client privilege, Michael. I deny it, but it's attorney client privilege. Number 67. Admit that the image attached here to as Exhibit A contains an accurate representation of something that was posted online with your fingers in the image. And she says, petitioner admits the matter set forth in this request. And by way of further answer, this incident mentioned was in February of 2024 when he abandoned the home and his belongings. So she admits to doing that. Number 68. Admit that you purposely and willfully caused visa applications filed on the behalf of the respondent to be denied. And she denies all this. Number 69. Admit that YouTube you have done YouTube streaming with John Yates. And she admits that. Number 70. Admit that you hired John Yates to do social media posting for you. And she denies it. Number 71. Admit that on or near the day that the respondent left your home, you and John Yates posted a YouTube video together wherein he stated that you hired him at approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes into the video. And petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request. I have never hired John Yates, and I do not recall making this statement. So this is our answer why he was being mentioned in these documents. I was like, why the fuck is he mentioned in these documents? There's our answer, you guys. Number 72. Admit that in the same YouTube video referenced in number 71 above, you showed your entire hand and admitted that it was your hands and fingers holding the passport as shown in Exhibit A. And she denies the matter set forth. She doesn't recall this action. She has short term memory loss, you guys, okay? She doesn't recall. Number 73, admit that you have exploited respondent for financial gain. She denies it. 74, admit that you have continued to post social media videos regarding the respondent and your desires to have his immigration status revoked. She denies it. Number 75. Admit you exploited respondent in a scheme to get a storyline on the 90 Day Fiancé television franchise. She denies it. Number 76. Admit you exploited respondent to gain fame. She denies it. Number 77. Admit you did not want respondent to ever come to the United States. She denies it. Number 78. Admit that you physically abused respondent from 2018 until the last time you saw him in your home in the state of Georgia. Of course, she denies it. Number 79. Admit that you emotionally abused the respondent throughout the relationship. She denies it, even though that everybody has seen the way that she's physically and emotionally abused this man. She denies it. Under perjury, she denies it, but that seems to be her problem and not mine. Number 80. Admit that during season 8, episode 16 of Happily Ever After, you threatened respondent by stating, "I'm watching you." And of course, she says petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, as this was a TLC scripted scene. And the respondent is acutely aware that this was a scripted scene. Okay. Number 82. And I remember the scene. Do you guys remember the scene? Admit you went to a business called One Stop IT, Information Technology, and asked an associate there to track and hack Michael's phone in Nigeria so you could spy on his activity, as documented in season 6, episode 9 of Happily Ever After, air date June 9th, 2021. I actually called that IT dude from that episode, wanting to ask him questions about Angela, and he hung up on me. Okay, I remember this. So, basically, guess what she says? She denies it. Of course, she denies it. Even though, oh, I'm sorry, she denies it because this is a TLC scripted scene. We all should know all the stuff that she's done to Michael on TV was scripted. Okay. Number 80. Let's see, 83. Admit that you stated respondent conned you into marrying him during season 6, episode 9 of Happily Ever After, air date June 9, 2021, and she denies it. But it was on TV, wasn't it? Okay. Number 84, admit that you wanted to have a GPS tracker or spying software put on Michael's phone while he was in Nigeria so you could compile evidence against him. Of course, she denies it. Number 85, admit that you stalked respondent through social media. No way. Number 86, admit that you stalked respondent and his telecommunications. Angela says no way. Number 88. Number 87. Admit that you financially abused respondent. No way, Angela says. Number 88. Admit that you mentally abused respondent. No way. Number 89. Admit that you verbally abused respondent. Besides that, what we have all seen on and off screen, because she would do it on social media too. Okay, even when they were together, she would verbally abuse him on their TikToks. I remember back in the day. Okay, of course, she says no, no way. Number 90, admit that you physically abused respondent. No. Number 91, admit that you said that respondent has a kid mind. Once again, Angela's claiming short term memory loss. Maybe she smokes too much pot like me. I don't know. But for some of these, she claims that she simply doesn't remember. Okay, for number 92, admit that you told respondent that he is slow and retarded. And of course, she denies it. Number 93, admit that you call respondent a scammer. And she denies it. Listen, if Michael's attorney needs screen recordings of all of her TikTok lives where she's going on, calling him Scamarella and it and all those horrible names that her and her buddies will call him, listen, I have tons of footage. Okay, FYI. So let's see. Number 94. Admit that on season 8, episode 13 of Happily Ever After, you threw a drink in Michael's face. And she admits it. Number 95. Admit that on multiple occasions you have abandoned respondent in the road and left him without transportation. And of course, she denies it. Number 96. Admit that you told respondent in season 8, episode 15 of Happily Ever After, you can sleep in the bed tonight. And of course, she denies it, stating this was all TLC scripted. Number 97. Admit that you told respondent, it's all your fault that I get upset. She denies it. Number 98. Admit that you worked in hospice care prior to meeting Michael, and she admits it. Number 99. Admit that you were a certified nursing assistant at any time before meeting respondent, and she admits that. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. Number 100. Admit that you worked in a prison in the past, and she admits that. Admit that you have been to jail in the past, and she admits that. Number 102, and this is in caps, okay? It says, admit that you were arrested for assault and battery in caps in the past, and she denies it. Number 103, admit that you were arrested for driving under the influence in the past, and she admits that. Number 104, admit that you humiliated respondent both publicly and in private, and of course, she denies it. 105, admit that you spit on respondent. And she denies it. Even though we've seen it on TV, she's denying it. Okay? Number 107. I'm sorry, 106. Admit that you spit on the respondent during an episode of one of the television shows while sitting in a restaurant with your family members present. And she denies it. Even though we fucking saw it on TV. She denies it. 107. Admit that you threw items at respondent. And she admits that. She admits throwing shit at him. Admit that you shoved a cake violently into respondent's face. And she denies it, stating it was a TLC scripted scene. 109. Admit that you went to Nigeria and physically made an attempt to destroy respondent vehicle. And she admits it. She admits it and doesn't say it was a TLC scripted scene. Number 110. Admit you made respondent sleep on the couch and refused to let him sleep in your bed with you after he arrived in the United States. And it says petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, and by way of further answer, the respondent would produce multiple reasons why he preferred to sleep on the couch. Have you seen Angela's bedroom lately? I would be fearful that that whole avalanche landslide of shit she has next to her bed will fall on top of me in the middle of the night. And from what I understand, allegedly she has grandbabies, dogs, cats, everything in her bed with her. So I don't blame Michael for sleeping on the couch. Number 111. Admit that you kicked out respondent into the streets from your shared hotel rooms without a place for him to go. And she denies it. Number 112. Admit that you withheld sex from respondent as a punishment. And she denies it. 113. Admit that you made efforts to isolate respondent from his friends. She denies it. Beside the fact that she told him she didn't want him hanging out with goofballs, Paradise Men were a bunch of scammers. Don't talk to Kobe. Don't talk to Usman. But no, she didn't try to isolate him at all. Nah. Hmm. Okay. Number 114. Admit that you made efforts to isolate respondent from his fellow cast members, co-workers. She denies it, everybody. She denies it. Number 115. Admit that you isolated respondent from free mobility after he arrived in the United States. She denies it. 116. Admit you instructed respondent not to work. She denies it. Of course. And isn't perjury against the law? Like, what the fuck? Number 118. Admit you refuse to allow respondent to make money through his social media platforms. She denies it. 119. Admit that you took control of respondent's social media accounts. She denied it. Bullshit. I'm sorry. Ugh. Anyway. 120. Admit that you abandoned respondents on multiple occasions. And she denies it. Number 121. Admit that you believe that respondents' immigration documents are your property. And she denies it. Number 122. Admit that you stated during the Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 5 that aired 8/25/2024 that the marriage between you and the respondent is over. And guess what? She denies it because it was a TLC scripted scene. Blame everything on TLC. 123. We're almost there, you guys. I told you this was going to be a long but a juicy one. 123. Admit that you stated during the Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 5 that aired on 8/25/2024 you were going back home and hiring a lawyer. And she denies it because that was all TLC scripted. 124. Admit that you stated that during the Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 5 that aired on 8/25/2024 that you intended on sending the respondent back to Nigeria. She denies it. It was a TLC scripted scene. 125. Admit that you stated during the Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 5 that aired on 8/25/2024 that you were going to divorce MYKOL. Nah, it was a TLC scripted scene according to Angela. Number 126. Admit that you stated during the Happily Ever After Tell-All Part 5 that aired on 8/25/2024 you are going to cancel MYKOL's immigration documents. She denies it. She denies it. Because, of course, it was all a TLC scripted scene. Yeah. Anyway, okay. 127. Admit that you and respondent opened up a joint checking account after his arrival to the United States. And she says yes. She admits that. Number 128. Admit you make money from appearances. And she says, petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, and by way of further answer, I have not made any revenue from any appearances in the past 2 or 3 years. Bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, my God, these bullshit attacks. Anyway, 129. Admit that you make money through Cameo. Petitioner admits the matter set forth in this request, and by way of further answer, I may have 1 or 2 requests infrequently. So full of shit, because I know of someone that just met her on Cameo 2 months ago, and allegedly, word on the street, she scammed them out of $50. So she's so full of shit. There are still people, from what I believe, hitting her up for Cameo. Not as much as she used to get, but she still got people hitting her up for cameos. Okay. Number 130. Admit that you were listed in the top 60 highest earners on Cameo. Okay, and she says, petitioner admits the matter set forth in this request, and by way of further answer, this request implies to purport some inflated valuation where none exists. So Angela's trying to say that she's still broke no matter what. Okay. Number 131. Admit that you make money on TikTok lives. And she admits the matter set forth. And by way of further answer, this request implies to purport some inflated valuation where none exists. So she may make money off cameos and TikTok lives, but she's still broke. Okay, she's still broke. So now moving on. Number 132. Admit that you have made money through TikTok subscriptions. And she admits it, but she says, no, this request implies to purport some inflated valuation where none exists. Number 133. Admit that you make money on other social media platforms. And she says, no, I don't. 134. Admit that you now in the past made money on advertising endorsements. And she admits the matter set forth in this request. But by further answer, it implies that she has money that she doesn't have, to make a long story short. Okay. Number 135, admit that you have made money from interviews. And she admits that, but once again, she's still broke. 136, admit that you currently do or have in the past make money or receive products and or gifts from companies in exchange for your promotion or endorsement. And she says she denies it. She doesn't make any money from endorsements or products. She doesn't get any free gifts. She doesn't get anything. She is so full of shit. 137. Admit that you receive money from endorsement deals or contracts. She denies it. 138. Admit that you announce you are starting your own production company. She did announce that on her TikTok live. She admits the matter set forth in this request. No, I'm sorry. No, this is 138. She denies that she stated she's starting her own production company. But for 139, she admits that she currently does or has in the past made money from other sources due to your affiliation with TLC Sharp and the 90 Day Fiance franchise. So she admits that she is riding this 90-day train and making the money off of it. Okay? And yes, menopausal queen, you are absolutely right. At one point, she was peddling dildos on IG. So she doesn't do any endorsements, get any free gifts. Yeah, bullshit is all I have to say. Okay, guys, we are reaching the end of the tunnel. Okay? Number 140. Admit that you have been charged, you have been arrested and charged with fraud in the past. Okay? And she says, petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request. And by further answer, I assisted my elderly mother with rectifying a situation my elderly mother created. That is interesting. Okay. So number 141, admit that you have threatened the respondent and his family. And of course, she denies it. Okay. Just a couple of guys. Number 142, we have admit that you have stated that if you appear on any TLC shows in the future, you will require a clause that the respondent is not to be hired by the network or appear on any of their shows. So basically, if you want me, no MYKOL. No MYKOL, and I want it in my contract. And she says, petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request, and by way of further answer, the petitioner has zero control with regard to the action of a multinational television network. And finally, point 143, okay? It says, admit that you have publicly stated that you plan to stalk the respondent in the state of Texas. And petitioner denies the matter set forth in this request. And by further answer, the petitioner has contacted the respondent via telephonic device once for the sole purpose of his step granddaughter asking to speak to her step grandfather, as her tender age would not lend understanding to her of his abandonment of our family. So there you go, you guys. There you go. The best $25 I ever paid for a stack of paper. Okay, we finally got the questions to the answers that I had last month. I mean, only Angela and Michael's case would have it backwards. I had the answers, but no questions. But now we have the questions and the answers. So now all the pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall into place. And who's the scammer? Hypothetical question I'm asking for myself. So that's basically it, you guys. Thank you for hanging in with me. I know this was a long one. Thank you, everyone in the live chat, for joining me. Thank you for watching me on the replay. If you guys happen to catch Angela on TikTok or whatever, cursing out kibbles and bits, screen record it and send it to me for a laugh, because I have a feeling that she will be going live on TikTok, and I'm going to be on her mind and in her mouth. So thank you, everybody, for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Double check that you are subscribed, because YouTube likes to fucking play games. Like, share with a friend or 10, and please consider joining my membership. I will see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good night. Happy Friday. Bye, everybody.